What's up everyone, how's it going? It's Simon here from CD Revival, and it's that time of the year again, time of the month I guess, for a new CD update. So some stuff that I've picked up in the last couple of weeks, basically since the late June one, so this is the, we'll call it the early July CD update. Bought a fair few bits. Mostly last weekend at the car boot sale that I went to, but I've had a few bits from eBay as well, so we'll crack on, see what I've got. Quite a few, well, first of all, we'll start off with the Wildhearts. This is their self-titled album, which is a bit of a tricky one really. It's because it's not available on Amazon Music, which is my sort of streaming format of choice. I'm not sure about if it's on Spotify because I don't use that. It sort of gets on my nerves a little bit. But yeah, self-titled album of theirs. This one came out in 2007. If you're not familiar with the Wildhearts, yeah, British band. And they're kind of difficult to... They're obviously a heavy rock band. But they vary. There's some of their stuff's really catchy. Some of their stuff's really, really heavy. And they can kind of switch mid-song on that one, that kind of yeah, so some really good, really heavy stuff on here, some longer songs as well. They do like a longer song as well. Rooting for the Bad Guy to start off with, probably the best track on here maybe, but there's a lot of good stuff on here, well worth checking out. The band, one of the most underrated bands I think. Just superb. All of their stuff is really, really good. I've got most of their albums now, but I've got picked up a few recently because they are sort of my go-to band at the moment. But their self-titled Wildhearts album from 2007. Buy it on CD because for some reason you can't stream it. So there's another one of their albums, Hutzpah as well, or however you pronounce it, that I don't have yet, and that one also you can't stream, but everything else you pretty much can. So their first album, Earth versus the Wildhearts, that's probably their best album, and once I get to them in my CD show and tell, then I'll pretty much do a ranking of their albums. I think should have most of them, if not all, by then. Next off we have got Propeller Heads, Decks and Drums and Rock and Roll. This one I actually bought last month but didn't include it in my previous CD update because I was holding up a big stack and then they all fell over and this one sort of went and I didn't find it. Anyway, regardless of that, yeah, Propeller Heads, very similar band to, well, not band, but a couple of guys. They do a lot of sampling, big beat stuff, similar to, if you like Fatboy Slim, then you're basically that. But pretty good. This has got History Repeating on it, which is probably their most famous track, with Shirley Bassey on it. But otherwise it's a decent mix of sort of big beat, sampling, deck stuff, and yeah, dancey kind of stuff. So not bad at all, pretty cool. I think I got that from a charity shop, £1 I believe. This one I got Desert Sessions. This is volume 11 and 12, so this is the most current one. Obviously Josh on me and a bunch of other people. This one features quite a few special guests on it. There's say he's done a bunch of stuff with various people. This one has got Billy Gibbons, obviously from ZZ Top, on it. Jake Shears from the Scissor Sisters, amongst Les Claypool as well, amongst others. Haven't actually checked this one out. I only got this one on Saturday, so I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, but I'm sure it'll be pretty cool. If you like Queens of the Stone Age, Eagles of Death Metal, all that kind of thing, then probably be your thing. So yeah, volume 11 and 12. This one I got from eBay. Mantronic's The Best Of, 1985 to 1989, 1999 even. Old school hip hop from back in the day. Really difficult to get their studio albums like Music Madness and In Full Effect. So I've had to make do with this one for now, which is the Best Of, which has got some of the best tracks like Ladies, Scream, Simple Simon and Who Is It from those albums, amongst other stuff. Got to Have Your Love, for example. So yeah, really good. Happy to have the best of Mantronics, but they would like to get their studio albums, but very difficult to get on CD. Like a lot of old school hip hop nowadays, it's a bit of a pain in the arse and a bit of a bugbear of mine. But nice when you do find them. But yeah, that's that one. Another Wildhearts one now, Fishing for More Luckies. This one was actually removed from sale because the record company put it out without their permission. They did originally just Fishing for Luckies, and then the record company did this one, which is the same album but with a few more tracks on it, but say it wasn't authorised by the band. This one was done at the same time as their second album. They wanted to do their second album as a double album, but that didn't happen anyway. We can go into that at a later date, but yeah, superb album. This one's got really long tracks on it for the most part, like Sky Babies, which is like a 12-minute track. So yeah, really cool. It's got the hit Geordie in Wonderland on here as well, and If Life Is Like a Love Bank, I Want an Overdraft, which is an absolute banger. And it's got a very racy video. But anyway, Fishing for More Luckies, really, really cool album. It's pretty much their, I don't know, third album, I suppose you could probably call it. 1994 original release. Happy to get that one. Frank Zappa, Them or Us. This one's one of his 80s albums, 1984. This one came out. This one's got Steve Vai on guitar. And I do like Frank Zappa, but this is not his best album. In France is by far the best track on here because that is quite comical. The rest of it is, yeah, it's a bit hit or miss, to be brutally honest. So it's got a really cool version of Whipping Post, the Allman Brothers classic, on here. So I like Frank Zappa. I'll pick up anything if I see it, you know. But yeah, this is not his finest hour. Another couple of Wildhearts now. This one's Renaissance Men. This is a fairly recent one of theirs. This is 2019. Pretty heavy stuff. And yeah, another really, really good album. And also, this is their most recent album, which I think came out in 2021. Yeah, 21st Century Love Songs. Another excellent album by them. So do urge, if you do just like good, catchy but heavy metal, old school style, check out the Wildhearts. This is a really good album. This is their most recent, as I say, 2021. Really, really superb. So we'll go into them in more depth on a later video. Frank Zappa again. This is one of my favourite albums of his. This is Overnight Sensation. And I think this is absolutely superb. This one is from, if I can get the year, 1973. This has got some great stuff on it. This has obviously got Montana, which is one of my favourite songs of his, Camarillo Brillo, which I think is amazing. The famous track Dynamo Hum, I'm the Slime, Dirty Love, 50/50, Zombie Wolf. Every track on here is an absolute banger. And yeah, this is one of my favourite albums of his, so happy to pick that up finally. This one, another rare one, Danzig's Death Red Sabaoth. This one's from 2010. This one's a bit racy inside, so I can't show you the inside. Probably the last really, really good album he did, and almost as good as his like American recordings, like albums, basically the Deaf American stuff. Yeah, the really good album, this one. Things like On a Wicked Night, Black Candy, Hammer of the Gods, Night Star Hell, I think is a really good track on here as well. But yeah, a really good album from Danzig, and probably, I say for me, is probably the last one that he did, which was must have. Really difficult to find his later albums. So yeah, was very happy to pick that one up for a reasonable price. The Birds, Sweetheart of the Rodeo. I mentioned this on a video a couple of weeks ago. And so yeah, picked that up. I got it on eBay actually, and got it for, I don't know, less than £3, I think. So this is the like expanded version with a bunch of bonus tracks on it, with things like it's got some stuff that Graham Parsons sings on that he didn't originally, for example. I think the Christian life and stuff like that, he sings on it rather than yeah. So it's you know, a really good album generally, but with the bonus tracks, which puts it up to 19 tracks, then it's yeah, superb. Probably my favourite Birds album that I've heard. I haven't heard all their stuff, but I do love that one anyway. These now I'm going to stuff that I picked up from the car boot sale on Sunday, which is a bit like a kind of flea market if you're from America. I don't think you have car boot sales over there. But this one, Stone Temple Pilots, self-titled album. Not listened to it. I've got their first 2 albums. I've not heard this one, so look forward to checking this one out. So you can get stuff really cheaply, which I did do. There was a bunch which I got. I think they were like 6 for £10. This is one of them. Also, A Bigger Bang from the Rolling Stones, which I think is their last actual studio album that they did. They've done like some blues covers, but this is like original material. It's actually not bad. It's pretty good. Marillion, Script from a Jester's Tear, which is their first album for a Jester's Tear, not from, but anyway. This, yeah, I really like. I got Misplaced Childhood recently, really enjoyed that one, so pretty happy to pick this one up as part of the 6 for a tenner. This one, Peter Gabriel, Us. Like quite a bit of his stuff, so this one's got Steam on it, which is the only one really I've heard. I think Dig in the Dirt as well. They're both pretty cool tracks, so that's that. Also, Little Angels Jam, which were a band from obviously the UK, not obviously the UK, but they were from the UK. This is a double CD version, so it's got Jam and it's got a live Jam CD on it as well. Band from the late 80s. This one actually came out in 1992, but they were, yeah, kicking around at the end of the 80s, early 90s. Did some good stuff. Toby Jepson, I think he's like a DJ on Planet Rock or something like that now. You can, but yeah, not checked this actual album out yet. I've checked some of their earlier stuff out and it's pretty good, so thought I would grab that. A few Bowie ones which I'm starting to build up the Bowie collection. Let's Dance, which I think is a really cool album. Obviously it's got Modern Girl, China Girl, Modern Love, China Girl, Let's Dance. They're the famous tracks on there. Do like this album, pretty good. And yeah, seemingly worth a lot more than what I paid for it. Lad Insane, which I've never actually listened to. I've heard most of his albums, but this one for some reason I have not. So I look forward to checking this out. I do know obviously the Genie, which is on here. This is like the remastered version as well. But yeah, never heard this album randomly. So I have heard pretty much all of his other stuff, even some of the shit stuff. But so yeah, Lad Insane. And also picked up Scary Monsters, which I think, and Super Creeps, obviously. Another good album from the start, early 80s, maybe 1980 this one came out. But yeah, Ashes to Ashes is on here, and Fashion, which are the 2 most famous tracks, but a good album anyway. The title track's especially good on this album. Also, this one I think I paid 20 pence. So hence, Roxette, Look Sharp. You see this in charity shops all the time. And the track, The Look, I've got is one of a bit of a guilty pleasure for me. So, and I always think, should I buy that? And I never have. But today, well not today, but on Sunday I actually did. Because it was 20 pence. And at that price, I could not refuse. Same for this one. This was 20p also. Heart, Bad Animals, got a loan on it, which is like super, popular back in the 80s or whenever it came out. When did it come out? I can't even see. 1987, I think. So yeah, Bad Animals, 20 pence. Couldn't refuse. Got this one. I think this was 20p as well, randomly. This is a Kerrang, like I guess a cover mount CD. 20th anniversary tribute to Master of Puppets, so it's Kerrang remastered. and it's basically got all the tracks in Master of Puppets, but done by other bands. So Machine Head doing Battery, Trivium, Master of Puppets, The Thing That Should Not Be by Mendeed, never even heard of them. Bullet for My Valentine doing Sanitarium, Chimera doing Disposable Heroes, Fight Star doing Leper Messiah, Mastodon doing Orion, and Funeral for a Friend doing Damage Incorporated. So yeah, obviously it was never, originally for sale, but 20 pence, man, literally, and it's got some good shit on there, so I was happy to get that. This one, Made in Heaven by Queen. I think I paid £1 for that. This is one of the albums that obviously I did my Queen ranking recently. This didn't do too well in the ranking, although I did say that I did like the album, and now I actually own the album, so I think there's only one or two maybe. I think it's literally only Hot Space that I don't have now from them, which I'm not in a massive rush, but some people do love it, as they were very happy to tell me in the comments. So, but anyway, Made in Heaven, good album, got that now. And these last ones, these were 3 for £1. The guy wanted 50p for them each, but I talked him down. A couple of Chicago, so number 17 by Chicago. They're a band that, I don't mind. And this has got Hard Habit to Break on here, which I do like. I think it's a good song. But yeah, their sort of ballady stuff probably is their best. But so 17. This one's like Heart of Chicago, 1967 to 1997. So basically a greatest hits to a degree. So it's got all the, If You Leave Me Now, etc. Hard Habit to Break once again. Hard to Say I'm Sorry, which I do think is a good track also. So that's that one. So, and I also picked up the original version of Purple Rain, which I've already got on the Super Deluxe CD and also on vinyl. But 3 for £1 once again. I thought, well, I might as well, as I'm a big Prince collector, might as well pick up the original CD as well, as it was so cheap. So yeah, that's my last couple of weeks' purchases. I've still got some stuff arriving in the post actually, and there's a few bits going on this weekend. So do a couple of charity shops and there's a big car boot sale on Sunday. So weather permitting, we'll pick up some other good stuff this weekend. Let me know what you think of my stuff that I got, and next video will be Red Hot Chili Peppers ranking, which I've kind of got in my head, but I've not written it down yet. So been listening to them for a week or so, and honestly I'm a little bit sick of listening to them now, but I will do the ranking for that one, then the rest of the R's, then Rammstein, and then we're on to S, which is a ton of crap to go through. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed the video. Obviously like and subscribe and all that other crap, do you know what I mean? You don't need to tell you to do it. If you like it, you'll do it. If you don't, you won't. But thanks very much for watching. It's always appreciated. Catch you all next time, and you take it steady.